Okay, so if there are more technical difficulties and grainy crap happening, will you comment so we know? Because last time, man, I was so bummed out.
We were pixelated, but we still looked good. I'm super excited to have you join us for Fuck Shit Up Friday. And
I don't say the F word.
She
or
doesn't
the F
drop
word.
the F-bomb. So if you're here, write a comment, say hello. We're super happy to have you here. Again, I have my beautiful and amazeballs sidekick, Amy Wolff, with me today. And we're gonna talk about some stuff.
We held back. When she came, we started talking about stuff. We're like, no, I'm waiting for the Facebook Live.
I know, because the beautiful thing about coming to see Amy is that she gives me quesadillas.
Every time she comes, my friends are gonna laugh. It's
Your
all I
friends
know
are
how to
gonna-
make.
I know.
I
It's
just
so
make
good.
quesadillas all the time.
But this time I got a LaCroix, which is fun. Anyway, if you're there, say hello. There's Sarah.
Yay! Hi, Sarah.
Let us know that you're here. And let's give people a couple minutes. How was your week?
It was good. It was a busy week. Kind of plugging in. Yeah, I'm a working mom. I juggle work and then
You mean you're like most of America in 2018?
Yeah.
You're working.
It just feels like a juggle. Yesterday, I had like 4 different people watching my kids. You drop them off here, and then grandma's meeting them there, and then friend is picking them up, and then Jake will my husband will pick them up after. I was a nut house.
Yeah. I just asked a friend for help with my kids the last week of July because I'm going to be gone and Jim's going to be working and all that stuff. And someone was like, oh, how did you ask for help? And I was like, it was amazing. I asked for help.
I sometimes wonder if I asked for too much help.
Yeah, no, I don't think we can ever do that. And what I said was, in the village, everybody takes care of, you throw all the kids in and everybody takes care of everybody. So
that's how I feel. We have a small group at church that meets weekly, and our kids, just one, discipline my kid, help my kid, I'll help your kid, might discipline your kid.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
We love each other's kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm super happy here.
You guys see these?
My earrings.
She hugged me and I nearly got a second piercing on my ear.
My stabby earrings. Look, let's see.
Mine are made in Vietnam.
Yours are awesome.
They're handmade.
Mine are awesome too.
You guys should check out Noonday Jewelry because they employ artisans around the globe trying to work themselves out of poverty.
Yeah, I'm gonna share that we are live on my Facebook page. Do you want to share that we're live on your Facebook page?
Yes. How do I do that?
Go to your
like just say I'm live.
Go to.
Can I share the live video?
Come up.
Oh,
yeah. So scroll up a little bit.
This is trippy, you guys.
Yeah, look, we're watching each other on the phone.
What?
But scroll up just a little bit and hit share.
Yeah.
And share it.
It's happening.
It is happening.
Now.
So if you're here, tell us you're here because we totally want to see you. And we can't see you if you don't say that you're here. Isn't that fun? Good Facebook. Good Facebook analytics. Anyway,
we're cracking. Oh,
what?
Something huge happened because of this conversation.
Say it.
Something happened in my life.
What?
I embraced being a feminist.
Stop.
I wrote a blog about it. I fleshed out my feelings. They're complicated. And I decided I'm for women and I'm going to call myself a feminist. And I might choose to be a little bit more angry about things instead of rolling my eyes.
Oh, be still, my bra-burning feminist heart.
I mean, I might not burn my bra.
I can't anymore. I just want to say how much I love that these conversations make both of us stretch. Not just you.
Oh, yeah.
And not just me. But the funnest part is, so y'all, I have to be honest with you. I got a message from Amy, and she was like,
I quit on you.
She tried to quit on me. I was like, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's what we're talking about. I'm making flashcards. Look, I made flashcards. I'm so excited. And because I'm a preschool teacher at heart, and that's what I do. So
and I'm competitive, so now I'm gonna quick make my flashcards.
No, you're not. So anyway, so she's like, well, I was gonna stop, and I was like, we can't stop. We're doing God's work. And she started laughing. But she had 2 different friends say, right after she decided she was gonna quit doing this, you have 2 different friends send you messages.
Not even friends. Well, yeah,
like
friends.
People you kind of know, and say, thank you for what you're doing.
And I thought 2 people in 60 minutes, the day I was like, Missy, we should reschedule. I'm too fired up this week. Nope. This is what we're supposed to do. We pull up our big girl panties and we talk.
Buckle up, buttercup.
I know.
Okay, so do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Oh.
Sure.
Well, I don't care. So today we're talking about and we knew this was the topic since we left last time.
Yeah.
Politics.
Yes.
Which is why I nearly gave up this week.
Yeah. Policies and politics.
Yes.
Okay.
And the top
3 myths liberal have about conservatives, policy or otherwise, and then 3 myths conservatives have about liberal policy. Yeah. So we're gonna go first this time.
Okay. I want to do all 3, and then you do 3, or you do 1, I do 1, you do 1, I do 1.
Why don't we start? We'll start with 1 and 1. How about that? Great. Okay, awesome.
Holly, look at you freaking friend over.
3 myths liberal people have about conservative policies. Ready?
So amazing.
Are you ready?
Twist of the story.
I feel like I'm David Letterman almost, but not quite. Okay, ready? Number 1, they are mean and you can't talk to them about their politics. Okay, let me tell y'all why this is a myth. Because conservatives are not mean people. They are people who have an opinion, just like I have an opinion, and all of my liberal friends have an opinion. And so the myth that you cannot talk to them is crap. And let me tell you why it's crap. Hello? The bottom line at the end of the day is people are passionate. They're not cruel. It is the rare person. It is the rare person that is cruel and mean and really wants to hurt you. Right? Yeah. For the most part, people really, they just want to get their point across. And what's happening that you and I have really started to, I think, tap into is that you and I are playing in the tension. You and I were talking about the tension.
Are we going to call it play or like barely survive the tension?
No, it's not a struggle.
For me it is, man.
Really?
To hold, to be in the gray and the not super defined and not defensive, and that's hard for me. Yeah.
So why do you think that? So I think that liberal folks think that conservatives are mean because the policies, the policies that are coming out of quote unquote conservative politics today, and the right, are damaging to people's lives.
Yes. The irony for me always is that when you hold a faith that is about a lot of things, I'm not trying to water it down, but love God and love others. When Jesus was asked, what's the greatest command? Love God and love others too. In that order, in our opinion. And so to be a part of a party that is, the policies are interpreted as mean and like stone-hearted, it's ironic to me. It's like, why did we land this party on this policy? Like that's, it's so confusing to me. How do conservatives who hold a Christian faith reconcile some of those things? I don't know. I do know conservative Christians on the conservative side, conservative Christians who are for border control, totally against separating families. So I think it's important that you hold space that they aren't just one thing. They can be both. They can be for, breathe, a wall, breathe. They can be for a wall and against separating families. That's where we have to hold space for each other, that you can't just make me one thing. I'm a complicated individual with a complex set of belief systems that maybe inform this, but not inform that. I mean, it's hard.
Yes, that's exactly it.
It's hard, but I still get confused about policies and like, that's hard.
But I think that it's the cruelty and the meanness that gives people who are in my circle the excuse to attack.
Name the top 3 or top 2.
Top 2 what?
Policies that seem to be mean.
They recently introduced a ban on LGBT people adopting.
Did that happen?
Okay.
I think that's
it goes against
horse crap.
You do think it's
since
horse
I
crap.
don't say that S word very much.
Pucky.
Well, it is shit. It's horse shit.
Yeah,
yes, I'll say that.
Okay. Whoa.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's not literally. But it.
Yeah, because
that's my friend Missy who just joined.
Hi, Missy. How are you? It's nice to see you. Yeah, if y'all are here, tell us you're here because we can't see you otherwise. But it goes against like the last 30 years of work or 25 years of work that I've been doing to help LGBT families. And it's cruel. And I now have friends who are calling me saying, I haven't adopted my kids yet. Like, partner has a baby. I haven't adopted my kids yet. I need to take care of this right now. Yes. And I'm like, yeah, probably. And that's not okay. And that's the cruelty that I'm speaking of.
Yeah.
Like it's taking Ryan White funding. Hey Shelly, how are you? It's taking Ryan White funding away from HIV funding to pay for the deficit that is being created in the federal government by separating families.
Yeah.
Taking funding away from HIV funding is going to kill people.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for so long. That's divisive and cruel against a certain population of humans that have a terminal illness. And so it's that kind of stuff that we have to have more conversation and dialogue about without getting divisive. And assuming myth number 1, conservatives are mean and you can't talk to them.
Okay.
That's crap.
Okay. Gosh, have mercy. Yep. Let's move on. I just, so if I were to try, so I would call that horse crap. I think it is. I would say for people who hold a faith that would say, which is me, and we've talked about this, is that I interpret the Bible to say that relationship was intended between a man and a woman.
Right.
Okay. So what's difficult, and here's where I'm not one thing, is I believe that and believe that they should be able to adopt children. I can be both things.
Yes.
And I don't think conservatives necessarily feel permission, and maybe liberals either, to be more than just one thing. There's money and power behind just being one thing, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Where you align and you fit in a category. But I'm just saying, it's complicated.
Yeah. This whole thing is complicated.
So I guess I get why there's fear for some people and would maybe say that the ban is a good thing for the sake of the child who's in a relationship, is how God intended. Maybe I can get where someone would think that, even though I think that's wrong.
And for me, that's where I think we have muddied the waters with policy and how we interpret policy. Yeah. So, all right, your number 1 myth. Myth number 1.
Well, okay, so I have to reframe it just the way you are suggesting. Yes.
No, you don't have to reframe it.
Well, I was just thinking, if there were 3 things that, this is how I framed it. If there were 3 things that I could say to the conservative population, that I'm kind of like, guys, like, why were we, the first one that came to mind was gay marriage. And that was probably the first policy years ago that started leaning me towards the middle of the political spectrum. Because I had this moment of, here's my belief system, and I had this awakening of, what do I think a government's role should be? And that's when things started changing for me, of what's the role of government? And I decided that the role of government, and again, this is how I reasoned, but it is not to uphold a moral code on a group of people who don't believe the same thing. That we shouldn't expect the government to be Jesus and the moral enforcer. I don't think that's what a government should do. Especially around a particular belief system in the Bible. And because of that, I don't think the government should tell people who they can and cannot marry. Yeah. I mean, and then it goes back to also in the faith circle is, why do we expect people to live away if they don't interpret scripture the same or don't believe in it? Like, why are we assuming and forcing behavior? Like, why are we fixing behavior? Let's start loving hearts and touching hearts. Like, that's a whole nother faith conversation.
And engaging in charity in a way that is loving and kind and just. That's my thing.
Yeah. So for me, my side of the aisle is what do we think the government's role is? And are we just wanting it to impose personal belief systems that's unfair to impose on other people?
Hi, Corey. Hi, Denise. Hi, Ronnie. How you doing? All right. So back to myth number 2 for the liberals
about
conservatives. Ready? About conservative policy.
I don't know these ahead of time.
She doesn't know these. I don't know yours either.
I know.
Ready?
Yeah.
Myth number 2. They all hate the environment, the gays, women, and sex.
We hate sex.
So my message to my liberal friends is, conservatives have a different view about gays, women, sex, and the environment. That doesn't, hey Jessica, that doesn't make them right or wrong. That makes it different.
And hard.
And this is where I think I love what you just said about the role of government.
Yeah.
The role of government is to address these issues that have to do with governing. It is not about addressing the issues that have to do with the environment, gays, women, and sex.
Yeah.
So
they all hate the environment. Gosh, this is so funny. Okay, tell me, can you go through each one? Why? Why environment?
Okay, so there is this assumption in the quote-unquote liberal community that Republicans are out to destroy the environment.
Pipelines,
consumerism, the oceans,
yeah,
all the things that big business, oil companies, right, drilling, all the things, right, coal, clean coal. Hey, Jessica. So like that is a thing, and it's legitimately an argument. I'm not taking away any of these arguments, but what I'm saying is there's room for conversation around these things. The gays. I mean, we just talked about the gays, so I think we covered that. The gays.
Capital T. The gays.
The gays. LGBT. I know I'm supposed to be all-inclusive, but anyway. I put the B in LGBT, so I get to say whatever I want. The women, that all conservative Republicans hate the women. And because they institute policies that attack the women.
Is it because of abortion?
It's because of anti-choice, pro-choice stuff, right? And so there's that. And sex. Because I think I have heard from my liberal friends that conservatives don't like sex because they're constantly trying to police it.
Oh, friends, you are wrong. That is weird. Stop. That's weird.
I've heard it over and over. They just must not like sex. And I used to be like, let's just be really clear. In my 30s, I was like, those conservative Republicans, they don't even have sex. Like, they can't even, how are they must not like what they're doing. Because to me, like, sex should be safe and enjoyable and super fun and awesome.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people think.
Yeah.
But, so anyway.
Okay, I understand all of those. So maybe this next one. Okay, so here's a great example.
Hi, Marianne.
I believe that, this gets so complicated. It's good. I believe that the Christian church, from scripture, believes that purity is important and that intimacy is meant between spouses or husband and wife.
Right.
And what's interesting growing up in my 30s is looking back in the Bible and going, there's nothing in the Bible says wait till marriage to have sex.
Right.
And so that got a little confusing. Like, well, where did I get all that? No, I think purity is important to God. And I do think beyond purity, beyond faith, there are reasons that are wise to wait to have sex.
Sure.
I did. Jake and Jake's my only, and it was wedding night. It was, and the reason why I laughed is because it was real hard to wait until the wedding night, like really, really hard.
Sure.
Very, very hard. But we did. It was something that mattered to us. And so to say we don't like it because maybe there's way more caution, that doesn't mean that it's not enjoyed.
But I think also there are policies being instituted
tell me about that.
By conservatives that limit the ability to be informed about sexual activity, like abstinence-only policies, for example.
Yeah. Like
that impose that belief about purity upon the entire population.
Yeah.
And instead of leaving it up to parents to have that conversation or giving parents the tools to talk about abstinence and sexually transmitted diseases and pregnancy and all of those things, so that the parents have the tools to engage in those conversations on their terms, by their rules, by their standards. I think I also think this is the downfall of sex education in America in 2018. I know I said it.
I didn't know you had an opinion about these things.
Is that in some situations, and Sarah's making a really good point, more than caution, there's a large amount of shame imposed on sexual behavior, which is actually somewhere I'm going to go to. Hold on, Sarah. Is that in many spaces where I have we've left it up to the schools to do the work of having these complicated conversations about sex, because some parents are too ashamed to talk about sex. Some parents don't know how to talk about sex.
Yeah, I think it's awkward.
Yeah, it's super awkward. It is a really weird conversation.
I haven't had that yet. 8 and 5 years old. I have some time.
Yeah, you got some
Although
time.
I have been asked this week about how babies are made. And I said from a mom and dad. And she said, what? Oh, boy.
Which is a limited conversation.
That's true.
Yep, that's another topic.
It's true.
But I feel like instituting policies that don't come from a public health perspective, maybe.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
From a health perspective, they don't give parents the tools to have conversations with their kids that aren't shaming. Like the other thing that
Tell me about the shaming part.
So we shame sex. We as a nation.
Okay.
Sex should only be between a man and a woman. So if you have any other type of sex,
it's a distorted.
You're supposed to feel ashamed about that because you aren't living up to that standard.
So then here's where I will say all of Christian faith will just thanks, Jessica. Okay, Brené Brown. We love Brené Brown. The difference between shame
and blame,
and maybe it's more guilt, is the whole Christian church, the whole faith, the whole, government versus faith and separation of church and state. Shame is saying you're bad for what you're doing. And the church has been notoriously terrible at that. Yes, I totally agree. But all of the faith, all of the church conversation, someone on the outside could say, it's all about shame. You guys just shame everyone into this behavior you think is better. And I don't think that's accurate. I think it has been done poorly. But I think there is a point where if my daughter came to me and made a sexual decision I thought was a bad decision, I wouldn't say you're terrible. You're filthy.
But that's you and me.
Yes, but there's a difference between shame and saying, I think that was the wrong decision. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
If it's not you're bad, I think that was bad. I don't think you're bad. And so there's where we got to be careful that the church doesn't sound like a shaming machine. Maybe at points it has been, for sure.
And it has been, and I think that's
But it's not just that. I think there are people like me that would never intentionally say, I would never say you are bad because. I would never say that to you ever.
But I think there are a lot of conservative Christian folks in this nation who they've said that to me to my face.
I know.
And so I feel like this is where we have to start sort of muddying the waters a little bit.
But we're not all like that.
I know. And that's why we're having these conversations.
Yeah.
Because I know not all Christian people are like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that, and it goes back to what you and I were talking about before about or Amy and I were having this conversation about, I said being rigid limits possibility of conversation. Being rigid limits the possibility. And so for us to say that every single Christian in America shames people for engaging in sexual behavior outside of marriage or, because it's against one man and one woman, is an assumption and a blanket statement. And I think it's meant to keep the power structure in the power, right?
We belong here. You belong there. We are better.
All of us
you are
in these
wrong.
little echo chamber boxes.
And we just surround
The
ourselves.
echo chamber is becoming a big thing of mine.
You've mentioned a few times in the last little bit.
So anyway.
Okay, we got stuck on that, but I think that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn.
Your turn.
Okay, wait, I don't understand where conservatives land on climate change the way they are.
Tell me more.
Well, I'm not an expert. So if you are, you win. I have no articulate response, no data to back this up, except from what I have read. I'm just not quite certain why the right side would say it's not happening. I don't get why this is a political issue at all. I don't get why it's one side believes this, one side believes that.
So you cannot pinpoint why climate change has become like this absolute conservative versus liberal agenda.
I mean, I don't see it. Maybe you do.
I don't see it at all. I'm asking.
I don't know.
I'm used to hanging out with conservatives who are like, yeah, climate change isn't real. And it's like 100 degrees in Oregon. I don't get it.
Well, yeah. And then we have a big snowstorm and everyone's like, see, told you climate change is.
But climate change isn't just about heat.
I know. And like you see those before and after pictures and it's like, are people going to deny that 30 years ago, like something's changing? Are we not?
But they do deny it.
I know. I don't get it. That's why I'm just saying, hey guys on the right, I don't get it. I mean, why?
I love this.
Why are we?
This might be my favorite part of the whole conversation is Amy bringing up climate change.
I don't get it. I don't get why.
I don't either.
I don't know why it's a me versus you thing.
I don't understand. I'm like, have you not seen
that
the trees are dying and the animals are going I mean, there's like a lot of things happening.
My dad wrote a comment on I was going to try to find it, but my dad, hi Jim, loves our conversations.
Hi Dad.
He said something on I think it was on your something, but he basically said, hey, listen, if we're going to err on a side on climate change, what side do you want to err on? Let's go with the environment.
I think we should go with the environmentalist side, the
liberal
side.
If you're wrong, be wrong there in making positive changes for our world, then being wrong on the other side and, oh crap, 50 years from now.
I want to still shot this one. Totally gonna look that up and take a picture of it. It's so good. Okay, I'm with you. I don't understand it. If someone in the world, in the land of conservative Christian can answer this for us,
and there's
please.
Maybe you're a liberal and you believe climate change is farce, or maybe you're a conservative and are kind of lying with me of I don't know why we're
I'd also like to hear from more conservatives who are like, hello, climate change, totally a problem. Yeah. We should fix it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
all right, your
ready?
turn. Number 3 for you.
Myth number 3 about liberals versus conservatives. They're all happy about what's happening to our country. Ooh. So I'm in a couple of private groups on Twitter, and
I've never used it.
Representative Bill Post, our rep for Newburgh, is a huge climate change denier. I think you have some work to do, Lovey.
I've never met Bill.
I think it's time for you to introduce yourself to Bill. Ooh, this is a whole nother conversation, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You're going to get some citizen lobbyist training from Dr. Melissa Bird, PhD. Okay, so this one right here, that conservatives are all happy about what's happening to our country. Yeah. I'm in a couple of secret groups, right, on the Twitters full of liberals. And there is this thing going on where they're like, every single Republican woman in America is happy about what's happening right now. And I'm like, that seems a little bit extreme to me.
Yeah,
because I don't think that's true.
No,
and I recorded a podcast this morning with Slade Robertson, which I'm really excited about, for Shifter Spirits, and we talked about this. And I said, if you are marginalized as a community, as a person of color, as a member of the LGBT community, as a woman, and then I said, and as a Republican woman. Because I feel like moderate Republican women, and I've blogged about this publicly, are being marginalized by both parties, not just one or the other. And I feel like there is like some stuff happening here that could be a really empowering kick-ass moment. And I just don't understand why everybody is making this blanket assumption that everybody in the Republican Party is happy about what's going on.
Guys, I think everyone's pissed off. I don't know. I think... No. Okay, so families being separated at borders. I don't know one conservative who...
In your world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have a lot in my world who weren't totally up in arms about it. I know a lot of conservatives who are rolling their eyes at our president. I know a lot of conservatives. No, we're not all happy.
Are they? Okay, so here's my question for you, Amy. Are all of these people speaking out?
Some are.
Okay. Are they writing letters to the editor?
I don't know.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's where I think we have a really awesome opportunity.
Okay. Here's also where you can do some personal coaching. Finish what you're going to say, and then I'm going to solicit your help.
This is where I think we have a really awesome opportunity to come together and help people find their voice in this so they can do letters to the editor and contact their elected officials. I mean, Representative Bill Post.
I don't know. Maybe he's a nice guy. He's just wrong.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure all these people are nice guys.
So here's my thing, friend. This feels like a confession to you. I have always described politics as a big chess game Well, I will never understand how to play, really who the players are, how the rules are made, and not that I'm not bribing you to move your pawn up to. Like, I just don't, I trust the game. I don't understand the game. I think there's a big curtain behind it, and it makes me feel completely helpless to make any change at all.
Well, and what I love to say to people like you,
coach me,
is that it is a game at a federal level, and we are lost on the federal level. Sarah wants to know, how can we help them speak up? And she says he's a dick. He's actually not a nice person, apparently. So I think there's some work to be done here on this. And Sarah's right. How can we help them speak up? So here's how we're going to help them speak up. So here is the thing. So there are a number of opportunities and ways to make a difference at a city, county, and a state level. And this is what I have been telling people forever. This is what I tell my students. This is what I tell my clients. This is what I tell the people I work with. If you have a voice and you have something to say about climate change, for example, then there is no greater time to sit down, and I will post a script in the comments and say, hi, my name is Amy. I am a registered Republican in your district. She's not, but
I won't register with any party because I am not. Yeah. Maybe we'll get there.
Maybe. But I am a constituent of your district. Okay. I vote. Sometimes.
I do. No, I do.
That will be a whole other coaching conversation.
Oh, yeah, I want to tell you about that in a second.
So I vote, and these are the reasons I believe climate change is real. And I, as your voting constituent, like you even say I'm a conservative.
Does that not go to their spam?
No, not when you put in the subject line, I am a constituent. At the federal level, still to this day, they count all of those. They count yays and nays. They have one person in the office who does it. Usually they're an intern from college. I know that's
because I bet those are some angry emails.
Yeah.
Who are you? You need to find this, and we need to say thank you.
Yeah.
For trying to
all the interns in the federal government
who are trying to make every email matter.
Yeah. No, it actually doesn't. When you say I am a constituent, they actually listen, and it makes a difference, especially at the local level.
So start small.
Yes, you don't have to go big.
I'm all about going big, friend.
I know you are, but not in politics. In politics, you got to start local.
Start with a little pawn.
Start with a little thank you note. Thank you for your service. Thank you for serving our community. I think there's a couple of places where you and I have the same morals, but I would like to talk to you about the policies that you have been dealing with.
Yeah.
And that's how we help them speak up is, this is who I am, this is where I come from, and oh, by the way, I don't agree with you on this, and here's why.
Yeah, actually, friend, I did do something. On Facebook, on our community page in our little town, there was a comment made by someone, and I looked him up, and I realized he was an elected official. And it made me, my expectations are then higher. Yes. And I went back to his comment. It was more frustrated that he would post it. So I wrote, I think we share the same belief system. I think you are entirely out of line and disrespectful here. And I am your potential voter. Just so you know, this is not appropriate.
Hey, look at that. Activism.
I don't need a letter. I need Facebook.
Yeah, you did it, though. That's activism. You engaged with an elected official online.
Yeah, and I told him I should be the person that you might want to rally later, and I cannot vote for you when character is a big thing for me. To be honest, that's why I couldn't vote for Donald Trump, because I can't separate person from policy.
No, and there's no separation there.
No, I know a lot of people who voted policy and not person. Yeah. Okay, so I have a bomb. I have one more.
You have one more.
Then I have a bomb to drop. That changes all of this.
Okay, good. Go.
Okay. Third one. What was it? Oh. Okay. I don't understand the conservative allegiance to the NRA.
Whoa, y'all!
So for context, I grew up shooting guns with my father. We would take our McDonald's little Happy Meal toys and we'd line them up on a log. And my brother and I would learn gun safety and take around, shooting the things off the log in a shooting range. And so I was around guns growing up. I learned gun safety. We own guns, and I'm okay with that. My husband hunts, and we eat the meat. I'm not opposed to guns. For unsaid reasons, with a ton of reasons, we got mailings from the NRA, and I was disgusted at the tone of hate. It's a political machine. It's fear and hate, and trying to money, and it just, I don't understand the allegiance to the NRA. I think you can be for guns and not for people bullying policy around with their money.
I might cry.
And I know you're not against guns either.
I'm not.
Okay.
But I love
Now
that you just publicly said this.
Yeah. However, here's where you don't like me. I also think similarly, Planned Parenthood is a political arm in a money machine that doesn't just provide medical treatment for women,
right,
but is so also uses tones of hate at times, and that pisses me off too.
I agree.
Guys, maybe we have more in common than we think, right? Pro-guns is not equal pro-NRA.
That is correct. So
totally true, but I know a lot of pro-NRA
There are
people.
so many NRA people who cannot distinguish the pro-gun, pro-NRA thing. Like, they just can't. And I think you're right. I think Planned Parenthood does use hate. Often. I've seen it. I've done it. Like, I used to have to come up with our political stuff. If Mary Ann's still there, she remembers very well. So, yeah. Because, and this goes back to our original argument, if we're in the Super Bowl with everybody else who thinks just like us, it's easy for us to polarize. It's easy for us to go there. It's easy for us to keep people separate.
Well, and the innate need to be loved and to belong. When you choose a side, you belong.
Yeah.
And when you choose a side, you get defensive for your side because you belong, and now you're faithful, and now you're loyal, and now you're going to defend it, and now you're going to make other people dislike the other people on the other side.
Yes.
Because if you don't, then you feel like you don't belong. Which brings me to my bomb I would like to drop. I took a political test. I took a blind test online. I took several to see if they weren't slanted, to try to see. Because now I'm just so confused.
Now Amy's just taking tests online to see who she is.
I don't know who I am anymore. I'm just not interested in one party. I'm not interested in people telling me what to think. And so I took a test on what do I really think. 60 questions of all different kinds of things, different policies, finance, economical ones to social justice ones. And evidently I'm not a conservative.
What? Where do you fall?
Okay, so I told you it changes everything. But there's a grid, and the grid is left and right, and that really, they say it only really works for economics, this left and right scale. But other things, it gets different, and so they created a grid. And this up and down is authoritarian or libertarian. What is the government's role? And so if this is, well, this is going to get complicated. I was slightly left and slightly down, which means I'm a little bit more liberal and a little bit more libertarian.
You heard it here first, people.
Which I guess doesn't really surprise me because I and this is where the belonging thing happens.
Yeah.
I couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton because of policies I disagree with. I couldn't vote for Donald Trump because the character of the person. So I voted third party that I more believed in, and everyone told me I threw away my vote, and my voice didn't matter. That's a throwaway vote. That didn't even count. You either had to choose this person or this person. Screw you. That's what I wanted to believe in, and that's what I wanted.
Right.
Like, it makes me mad when people call it a throwaway vote. That makes me very mad.
Well, and I think that's another political tactic to keep us divided.
Yes!
Yes!
If I feel like there are way more moderates out there, but that makes us not belong. We don't belong anywhere.
Because there's not a party for you to belong to.
There's no party. You're pissed at me. My people are pissed at me. Everyone's pissed at me.
Listen, lots of people are getting mad at us.
You too?
That's another talk.
Yeah, okay.
Guess what? It's been almost 40 minutes.
There we go. Just like that.
Just like
Every
that.
time.
I know. Y'all, thank you so much for being with us live today. I'm really, really excited.
I'm bringing flashcards next time.
The top 3 myths liberals have about conservatives.
And the top 3 myths conservatives have about liberal policies.
Yes, policies. Thank you so much for being here today. It's Friday. Go fuck up some shit. Bye.